Welcome to Report Crimes. Tonight's the night, and it's going to happen again. Imagine this. It is October 1977. We are in Columbus, Ohio. The police are looking for a dangerous man, a serial rapist. He has attacked 3 women near the Ohio State University. The city is scared. The victims give a description. They say the man was rough, but strangely he was also nice. Sometimes he acted like a child. Sometimes he had a thick accent. The police find a match. Fingerprints lead them to a 22-year-old man named Billy Milligan. It seems like an open and shut case. They catch him. They throw him in an interrogation room. But this is where the story stops being a normal crime story, and it becomes a mystery that no one understands. 2 detectives enter the room to talk to Billy. They expect a tough criminal, maybe a guy who will cry and say, "I didn't do it." But the man sitting in the chair they're confused. He looks at the police with wide, innocent eyes. He speaks in a soft voice. He says, "My name isn't Billy." The police laugh. "Okay, sure, who are you then?" The man sits up straight. His face changes, his eyes become hard. Suddenly he speaks with a deep, strong voice, and he has a Slavic accent, like someone from Eastern Europe. He says, "I am Reagan. Why am I here?" The police are shocked. Is he acting? Is this a game? A few minutes later, the man changes again. Now he sits with his legs crossed, very elegant. He speaks with a perfect British accent. He sounds like a professor from Oxford University. He says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. I am Arthur. There seems to be a misunderstanding." The police didn't know it yet, but they hadn't arrested 1 man. They had arrested 24. Welcome to the mind of Billy Milligan. Billy was sent for a psychological evaluation. Everyone thought he was faking it. He was a criminal trying to avoid jail, right? That's what the district attorney thought. But then he met Dorothy Turner, a psychologist. Dorothy started talking to Billy. At first, Billy, the real Billy, was asleep. He wasn't there. Instead, Dorothy met Arthur. Arthur was 22 years old. He was British. He was extremely smart. He knew physics, chemistry, and he could read and write Arabic. Arthur was the leader. He was the one who decided who gets to talk. Arthur told the doctors a secret. He said, "We are not alone here. We are a family." Arthur explained how their mind worked. Imagine a dark room. In the middle of the room, there is a bright spotlight. Whoever stands in the spotlight holds the consciousness. That person controls the body. The others, they wait in the dark. They sleep, or they listen. So who was in the dark? There was Dragan Vadaskovinic. Dragan was the keeper of hate. He was Yugoslavian. He spoke Serbian. He was incredibly strong. Listen to this crazy detail. When the body was in danger or when they were in prison, Arthur would step out of the light and Dragan would step in. Why? Because Dragan could control the adrenaline in the body. He could punch a wall and feel no pain. He was the protector. Then there was Alan. Alan was a con man, a manipulator. He was the only one who smoked cigarettes. He was the one who talked to the outside world the most because he was charming. And there was Tommy. Tommy was 16. He was an escape artist. He could pick any lock. Handcuffs, no problem. Tommy could get them off in 10 seconds. The doctors were stunned. They did IQ tests. Arthur had a genius IQ. Reagan had high physical strength, but average IQ. Billy, the core personality. He didn't know any of them existed. When Billy was in the spotlight, he just thought he was losing time. He would wake up in a different city or in jail and have no idea how he got there. He thought he was going crazy, so he tried to kill himself. Because Billy was suicidal, the personalities, led by Arthur, decided Billy is not allowed in the spotlight anymore. They put the real Billy to sleep for 7 years. But here's the big question. If Arthur is a gentleman and Dragan is a protector, who committed the crimes? Who attacked those women? The police looked at the evidence. The victim said the attacker was confusing, sometimes gentle, sometimes not. This didn't sound like Arthur. And Dragan didn't hurt women. Dragan only hurt men who were dangerous. The doctors dug deeper. They asked Arthur, who did it? Arthur didn't know. He was losing control of the family. Finally, a quiet voice spoke up, a voice they hadn't heard before. It was a 19-year-old girl. Yes, a girl. Inside Billy's male body. Her name was Adelana. Adelana was the keeper of the home. She cooked for the others. She cleaned. But she was lonely. Deeply, painfully lonely. She was a lesbian. She wanted love. She wanted to be held. And because Arthur and Reagan were not paying attention, Adelana stole the spot. She took control of the body. She was the one who went to the university campus. The crimes, the rapes. In her mind, she was seeking affection, but in reality, she was a man attacking women. It was a tragedy for the victims and a tragedy for the broken mind of Billy Milligan. The trial began. It was the first time in American history that a lawyer used multiple personality disorder, now called DID, as a defense for a major crime. The courtroom was packed. The lawyer called the witnesses, but the witnesses were Billy. On the stand, people saw him change. They saw him slouch and become a scared little boy named David, only 8 years old. Then they saw him sit up and speak with the British arrogance of Arthur. Then the angry strength of Reagan. It wasn't acting. You can't fake the body temperature changes, the pupil dilation, the different speech patterns for hours and hours. The jury was shocked. The verdict came in. Not guilty by reason of insanity. Billy was not sent to prison. He was sent to a mental hospital. So what happened next? Billy spent a decade in hospitals. The goal of the doctors was fusion. Fusion means combining all 24 personalities into one single person. It was a painful process. Imagine having 24 people living in a house, and you have to tell them, you all have to die so one person can live. Arthur didn't want to disappear. Reagan didn't want to leave. But slowly a new personality emerged. They called him the teacher. The teacher was the sum of all of them. He had Arthur's intelligence, Reagan's strength, Alan's charm, and Adelana's sensitivity. The teacher helped write the famous book about his life. Billy was eventually released. He lived a quiet life afterwards. He sadly passed away in 2014 from cancer. But his story leaves us with a haunting question, a mystery about ourselves. We think we are one person. I am me, you are you. But Billy Milligan showed us that the human mind is fragile. To survive trauma, to survive pain, the mind can shatter like a mirror. And each piece of that mirror can become a person with dreams, with fears, with talents. Billy wasn't a monster. He was a survivor. He was a library of people, all trapped in one body, just trying to protect a little boy who was hurt a long time ago. So the next time you feel like you are arguing with yourself in your head, just be glad that the other voice doesn't answer back with a British accent. Thanks for listening to this strange, true story. Stay safe and keep your mind open.